Hello everybody, we're the Gabriellians and our family owns Honey Acres, which you can see right behind us. We're going to take some time today and show you a little bit about who we are, where we are, and what we do in this big building that you see right off the highway in Neosho, Wisconsin. Here at Honey Acres, our business consists of two parts. One being our manufacturing, where we produce, package, and ship out all sorts of honey products and honey chocolates, and also our museum, which is open to the public year-round, Monday through Friday, and occasionally on Saturdays. Before we get into the manufacturing aspect of what we do here, we'd like to take you guys on a little tour around our museum, show you a little bit about how we do things and how our museum is structured, and teach you guys a little bit about bees. An interesting fact that ties us to the Oconomowoc Library is that the bricks that our bee bowls are made out of in our courtyard actually used to be the same bricks that the old library was made of. It was torn apart in 1987, and these bowls, these bee bowls, were built in 1989 when the museum was constructed.
So here at the museum we have lots of different displays. We have stuff about how bees make beeswax, we have stuff about pollination, about what the bees do in their hives throughout the year, about beekeeping back in the day and kind of how we do it now. But we're only going to focus on a few of our displays today, so what we're going to teach you guys a little bit about is the honeybees themselves. So there are 3 different types of honeybees in the hive. Tigran, what's this one? The queen. This is the queen bee. So she lays all the eggs in the hive. She can lay up to 2,000 eggs every single day. That's a lot of babies. Then there's the worker bee. The worker bees are also females, and they do all of the jobs in the hive. They collect the nectar, they collect the pollen, they make the honeycomb, they keep the hive clean, they tend to the queen, they help with the babies. They're the worker bees. They're the ones that are doing all the work. They're the ones that you guys see out when you're in your garden or at the park or in the grass. And then the last one in the hives are the drones. And are the drones boys or girls, Tigran? They're boys. And something interesting about the drones is they have no what? No stinger, so they can't sting you. Tigran, do you have something you want to show everybody? So Tigran has a drone right here. He came out of our hive and he can be held because he has no stinger and he can't hurt us, right T? So the worker bees, the females, they do have a stinger, but they really don't want to sting you. When they sting you, they actually die. So they're actually pretty docile, and unless you accidentally like step on them or if you're like swatting at them, that's really the only time that they're gonna sting you. The queen bee, she usually just stays in the hive, so most of the time you're not going to ever really see a queen bee. So bees have a couple different body parts that you guys can probably notice from the outside. They have 6 legs, they have 4 wings, they have 2 antennas, and they actually have 5 eyes. 2 eyes kind of like ours on the top of their head, and then they have the other 3 that helps them navigate using the sun. So the coolest thing about our museum is our observation hive. So a lot of people have the opportunity to go and talk with a beekeeper and get a see in a modern day hive, but there's not a lot of opportunities to look into a wild hive. So this is our observation hive where you can see all the stuff going on with all the bees, and I wanted to point out some stuff for you guys today. So when you're looking to the hive right here, you can see all these cells are actually filled with honey that's being made by the bees. So these cells that are kind of closed off, that these bees are sitting on right now, they actually have ready to eat honey in them. They're all capped off and ready to go. Over here, I'm gonna show you guys a bunch of bees fanning. So they're kind of acting as an air conditioner because it's really hot in the hive today. It's almost 100 degrees. So if you guys zoom in a little bit, right here you can see she's fanning. And then this one, and then we have some more kind of coming all the way down here. And so what they're doing is they're fanning their wings and they're causing a updraft in the hive to bring some cooler air in and get the hot air out and to keep the temperature down low. So this bee right now is doing the waggle dance. That's how bees communicate and tell each other where the flowers are that they just visited. So she waggles, and then she'll turn, and she'll waggle again, and turn the other way. And so all these ones around her, they're all paying attention to her dance and learning where the flowers are to go visit. This honeybee right here, see that on her leg? That's some pollen. So she was just out foraging flowers, and so she's gonna come back and she's gonna go put that in a cell.
Now that we've taken some time to show you guys a little bit about our museum, we're gonna take some time and go into manufacturing and look at all of the tools and machines that we use to make our honey chocolates. But first, we've gotta get suited up. Now that we're all suited up, we can go inside the factory and check out the first step in the process, bringing honey into the factory. At Honey Acres, we receive honey in two different forms. We either receive it in barrels, like this one right here. These weigh 660 pounds each, and they either have liquid honey in them or hard honey that's crystallized. We also receive them in totes. These totes weigh upwards of 3,000 pounds, and they contain almost 250 gallons of honey. That's a lot of honey. The first thing we do with the drums and the totes when they come in is we clean the outsides of them. We don't want anything dirty getting into our facility. After they've been cleaned, they'll be dumped into our large holding tank, which holds about 20 drums or 12,000 pounds of honey. From here, it'll go upstairs into our processing room where the honey will get lightly strained, heated, and also the flavorings, if any, will be added to them. Once the honey is processed, cleaned, and flavored, it'll end up in a mixing tank, just like this one, and this will mix the honey throughout the day as it feeds our machine downstairs that is part of making the chocolates. Let's take a look at the other part of the chocolate list, the chocolate, raw chocolate itself. The other main ingredient of our chocolates, the finished product chocolate, is of course pure raw chocolate. We receive this from a company in Milwaukee that manufactures it for us and delivers it to us on pallets that are 2,000 pounds each. That is a lot of chocolate. The chocolates come in boxes of 50 pounds a piece, so you've got to be really strong to pick them up and put them into our chocolate tank. First, you open the boxes and you can see inside, this is pure raw chocolate. There are no other ingredients in this. This is just pure chocolate, basically straight from the cocoa bean itself. Once the boxes are opened, they get inspected and they go into our chocolate tank. This chocolate tank holds 500 pounds of liquid chocolate, and it will get recirculated during the day upwards of 1 to 2 times. This is the chocolate tank. It's got a mixer inside of it. Look at that delicious chocolate in there. Now you might be thinking to yourself, boy, I would love to dip my finger in there and taste that chocolate, but this is very bitter chocolate. Remember, it has no sugar in it, it has no dairy in it, it is pure raw cocoa. It is the darkest chocolate you've probably ever tasted. And that's where the other most important ingredient, this is where they combine. We take the pure honey and the pure chocolate and make a finished product that tastes oh so delicious. Now the chocolate in the large tank is not quite ready to use. It has to go through what's called a tempering process. It's a heating and cooling process that makes the chocolate, that gives the chocolate that perfect crispy snap to it. The way the tempering process works is we take chocolate from our large chocolate tank and we deposit it into this tempering unit. This machine is continuously circulating chocolate through these lines and back down, and it's tempering them so that when they come out on the other side of the line, the chocolate is perfectly tempered. Now that we have our honey prepared for use upstairs and our chocolate perfectly tempered, we can combine them in what's called a one-shot depositing machine. Empty molds, these are molds. This is what forms the chocolate. These go onto a conveyor belt. This side of the line, you can see the chocolates come out and they're still liquid. These are not ready to eat. So they go onto a conveyor belt and they travel through and down a long line. This is a 45-foot long cooling tunnel. It takes approximately 15 minutes from one end to the other. They go in as liquid chocolate and they come out as hardened chocolate patties. We're up in our cooler right now. There's about 10,000 pounds of chocolate in here right now, and it smells delicious in here. I don't know if you guys can smell it, but it's amazing. All right, guys, so we're down here in main production again, back where the chocolates were actually produced, and we've brought one of those pallets that we were just looking at upstairs in the cooler down into production to get wrapped. This right here is the first step in the quality control process going into the foil. This is what's called a metal detector. So if for any reason there's any metal in the chocolates, it'll make a beeping noise and it'll stop the entire line. So as you can see, they get flopped and then they'll come down the line, go into a line right here where they get into single file line, and then they go keep going into this machine right here that wraps them and puts them right into the stick. From here, they go through a series of other operations to end up in a bag just like this. Whoa, that was a wild ride through Honey Acres. I'm glad you guys could join us. We showed you some of our secrets. We can't show you all of them. You guys are gonna have to come by and check it all out for yourselves. But now that we're at the end of the show, we've got a second to enjoy one of these bad boys. So hope to see you soon. I hope you guys liked the show. I hope you learned a whole lot. You guys have a nice rest of the day.